It is Sunday. It is. It's about 11:30. I'm gonna light me a candle that I bought at the Piggly Wiggly yesterday. It's a buttered maple syrup, and that's exactly what it smells like. So we're just gonna light that. I was actually baking chicken yesterday, and I forgot that I had this candle lit. I was like, why does it smell like syrup in here? I also discovered yesterday, after I got entirely upset over the fact that the Hawaiian Punch individuals thought it would be a spectacular, majestic idea to put carbohydrates in their sugar-free drink packets. The people at the Crush, they didn't feel that way. Guess what? There's none. None in that. So I added an additional 4 packets to my gallon, and as you can see, I'm about halfway through that, and it's delicious. It does not taste like watered down Kool-Aid. So, yay. Blessings all around. I woke up this morning. There's a blessing. I got my muumuu on. I took me a good shower, put on my muumuu. It's very comfortable. If you do not have one, I highly recommend you get one. They're lovely. I had thought about making this video, and I'll tell you something, I'm doing it from the phone again because, you know, I spent probably 45 minutes on the interwebs trying to figure out how to enable and use a webcam on a Google Chromebook. Yeah, apparently when they decided to do all this hoopla with the Google Hangouts and then back to the YouTube live stream, all this yada yada, that it's got something to do with you have to use an encoder and all this secret squirrel hoopla that I know nothing of. It's just not in my wheelhouse. So I'm either going to have to buy me another computer that is not a Chromebook so that I can continue making videos like a normal person, or I'm just going to have to use my little setup that I have here, which is fine unless we get an earthquake, and then it's all gonna turn to hell because everything's gonna tumble down. It's gonna be bad. So, but we'll hope everything kind of stays even today. Or if like a herd of buffalo or elephants come, river dancing down the porch, it's gonna fall. The camera's gonna fall. But let's hope that doesn't happen today, or at least let's hope it doesn't happen while I'm recording. Like I said, I had it in my head to make a video, and sometimes I feel like if I don't make it right then, it's kind of like the moment has passed sort of deal. I have like 50,000 thoughts that run around in my mind constantly. People have asked me before what it's like to live with and have an attention deficit disorder, and I've often said for every one thought you have, I have 75, and they're all fighting against one another, and sometimes it feels like I can't get thoughts out quickly enough, and so I end up just talking and rambling and trying to listen to me talk, or trying to have a conversation with me. I would almost venture to say it's not an easy task, because I change gears and I change stories in the middle of a story because I forget about this and the squirrel moment here, and it's kind of horrible, which is why oftentimes I try to write things and feelings. The problem with that is that I'm not one of these people that can just sit and dash something off and it's all good and great and fine. For when I post something that's got maybe 5 or 6 paragraphs, the truth is, and sometimes the sad truth is, it's probably taken me an hour and a half to 2 hours to write that, because I have to go back and edit, and I could have had a better word there, or that phrase could have been, better, or whatever. So it's for me to get thoughts out. It's a chore. It really is kind of a chore. So, but all the things that I wanted to talk about, I've kind of lost the oomph to say what I needed to say. I think that the biggest thing that's been weighing on my mind lately, and something that I prayed a lot about last night, was just the condition of this world that we find ourselves living in, and just the evil and it hurts my soul on so many levels. And I think to myself, is this the end? Is the end of the world coming? Because I mean, it's just gotten crazy. It's just gotten crazy. I mean, police officers are afraid to even go to work and do their job because they're afraid of getting shot and killed. People are afraid to walk down the street if they're a person of color because they're afraid that they're going to get shot and killed. And we live in a time and an age where we're supposed to have evolved as a society, and it just feels like we're regressing. And it's scary. I feel sometimes fortunate. People talk about the fact, oh, you live in Kentucky and you all are just this, that, and the other. And Kentucky's not without its problems, but I'm thankful to live in a place that is kind of podunk to a certain degree because it does feel safer here. I can't imagine living in a big city. I just couldn't. And I think it's important now more than ever to just pray for people and pray that people have opened their hearts and their minds to things that are not as familiar to them, and for people to have an open and understanding mind and presence to not just cast down what they don't know or what they don't agree with. And it seems like that we live in this time where everything is just so polarized, whether it's religion or politics or social issues, and just the country is just divided completely behind that kind of stuff. And I'm just one of these kind of people that I'm over here like, well, did anybody make coffee? And maybe I'm an idiot for not being one of these people that's, you got these friends and folks who just want to cite to you everything that's happening in the politics and everything that's happening here and everything that's happening there. But the thing of it is, they get their information from these news outlets who put their own spin on it. I don't think any of us ever get a completely unbiased reporting of anything. CNN predominantly takes a more liberal view, whereas Fox News takes a more conservative view. And so spins are put on things, and we don't know what we're being told. I mean, we really don't. And so you'll get these people who want to sit and quote these things to you chapter and verse and get all heated and want to argue. And at the end of the day, I'm just kind of like, what's for dinner? I know that makes me probably a horrible person, but I think sometimes when it's things that are beyond our control and things that are out of our hands, I think the best thing we can do is just pray about it. Which is why I get tickled at people who like are ultra conservative and very, very Christian, who want to get so mad about the whole political hoopla and talk about Hillary and, oh my God, if she gets elected, we're all going to hell and blah, blah, blah. Well, to me, if your Christianity is strong and your belief is strong, then pray about that. And if you pray and have faith that the good Lord is going to provide and take care of you, then you don't have any worries. But it's sort of a contradiction when you hear those people, oh my God, we're doomed, we're this, we're that, we're that. Well, honey, where's your faith? Did you hide it somewhere? Is it up there somewhere? But I don't know. It's just not something that appeals to me in the sense of I'm willing to get into an argument or get into a debate about it, because people can't respect one another anymore to even have these kind of discussions. People can't say, well, I'll see where you're coming from. However, let me tell you what I feel. No, it's you're wrong. You're what's wrong with America, and it's your problem. And people just want to get so personal about it, and I just don't have that in my heart. I've never been that kind of person who wants to strike out at people over things that at the end of the day none of us have any control over. We just don't. We can vote, and that's fabulous and that's wonderful, but after that election is over, it's kind of out of our hands what's going to happen. So why spend all this time getting completely bunged up and getting all pajiggity and alienating folks and starting arguments and starting fights? And I think sometimes the best thing we can do is just control our actions. You can't control what the next fella is going to do. I mean, everybody knows that. But you can control what you do, and you can control how you feel about things, And people are too busy worrying about what the other fella's doing. Worry about what you're doing. Worry about how you feel. Worry about the actions worry about the words that come out your mouth. People just don't do that anymore. Which is why a lot of times when it comes to those kind of situations, I'm perfectly content just to sit and sip my frosty beverage or sip my coffee or whatever, and just let them go. You know what I mean? And then I've got, oh, that's so good. Then I've got all these friends and people who are going through, some relationship messes and some relationship times. And, years ago, and really not even so much that long ago, if you know me at all, I was one of these type people, honey. A relationship was the defining, definitive thing, right? Trying to look at the timing on this, how much I need to clear some of the yuck off my phone, because I don't know how much time this is going to let me video, but we'll see. If it cuts me off, it cuts me off. But yeah, a relationship was the end all be all of everything, and I could not stand the thought of being alone. Killed me. It killed my soul to no end. Because my worth truly was determined and based upon if I had somebody or not. It didn't even care if it was a quality somebody, as long as it was a somebody, And thank you, Jesus, that I have gotten away from that, because quite frankly, I'm going way, way in the opposite direction now. And there was a little thing that I saw on the interwebs. I don't know what to call them. I don't know if they're memes. I don't know if they're e-cards. I don't know what they are, but little sayings, if you will, little quotes. And it said something about, in terms of relationship statuses, and it basically said, your presence is going to have to feel so much better than my solitude for me to even entertain the thought of a relationship. And that's truly the point that I've reached, because I am so comfortable. And for me to say that, it blows my own mind. I mean, it does. It truly blows my own wig, because I never thought I'd be the type person to say that, A friend of mine who I hadn't spoken with for a while, we kind of reconnected on the Facebook recently, and God love her heart, it's funny how people in different seasons of our life and in different times in our life get to know us on levels that people don't. People that are also close to us don't. I've got so many friends who know me in a certain way. Do you know what I mean? That somebody else may not pick up on, but they do. And it always blows my mind, because I guess I just think, I don't think that people ever truly pay that close attention to me, because everybody just thinks I'm silly and that I joke all the time, which is true. I do joke all the time. Let's see, 22542. Okay, that should be good. But I had a friend of mine, this friend that I reconnected with, and she sent me a message, and she said, "What has happened to your smile? What has happened to your spark and your light? It's gone." And I never really stopped to think about that, because number one, why would I? And number two, nobody else has really said anything to me about it. But this friend who I was very, very close with for many, many years, sort of comes back into my life, and that's the first thing she notices. She's like, "The little sparkle in your eye is gone. Where did it go?" And it got me to thinking about, well, where did it go? Because here I am looking at all my pictures, like, well, is there no sparkle? Where's the sparkle? But when I stop and think about it, this last year especially, it's been kind of a booger. I ain't gonna lie to you. I've spoken before about losing Alicia and what that's done to me, and I'm kind of tormented on the daily about that. I don't always talk about it, and I don't always let it show, but it exists. It's there. It's with me. It's like a piece of jewelry or something. It's constantly with me, and I have to pray about it. I have to pray about it a lot. I do a lot of reminding of, she's not hurting. She's, that whole self-talk that sort of, makes it okay for you. A relationship issue that I had that it just completely, I was just really devastated for a long time. And nothing against them. I would never in a million years say anything bad towards them. I think sometimes we get hurt, right? And what do? When we get hurt, we want to hurt them, so we lash out, and we say little things that maybe we shouldn't say, and because we're not perfect, we're human. But I was in a situation that it just took me through a roller coaster of emotions, and it finally got to a point for me that I knew it wasn't healthy. I think sometimes you can love somebody. Oh my God, you can love somebody with your entire soul, your entire heart, your entire everything. But if it's not being reciprocated in a way that you need for it to be, and you finally resign yourself to the fact that it's never going to be reciprocated in the way that you need it to be, you have to really take a hard look at it, and you have to decide for yourself, well, am I okay sitting here and allowing things to remain as they are, or do I need to just do the hard thing and just I got to move on? And it was a hard thing for me to do. I can't sit here and say, oh, it was so easy and blah blah blah. It was difficult, and there's some days that it's still difficult. I am a very emotional person. I am a very feeling person, and I'm human. But I had to get to a point where I realized the situation that I was in was not healthy. I was clinging to, and I think this is what gets a lot of us. I was clinging to the idea of the image that I had in my head of what it could be. I was clinging to this image of the potential that I saw, or the feeling that I had in the very beginning of things, and I was just holding on to that, and I was sort of pushing the actual reality away. And I think when we get to the point that we do that, we're just kidding ourselves. Do you know what I mean? It's just and it is hard. It's very difficult to get to a point where you what is it, doing what's how's that saying go? Doing what is right isn't always easy. The right thing is not always easy. Sometimes doing the right thing is one of the hardest things you'll ever have to do. And it was hard, but you do it and you pray about it, and thank God for faith, and thank God for prayer, because honestly I believe that's what got me through it. So, before I would just medicate myself with another relationship. It's like, oh, okay, well, you don't want to be with me? That's fine. I'll go find somebody who will. And for years, that's what I did. And that's so not healthy. Let's see, 2118 21990. Okay, I still got time. I'm paranoid about that because I'm afraid it's going to cut me off. But I did that for years. Did it for years. And that's not healthy either. So this time, I feel like I'm doing it the right way. Do you know what I mean? I did what I felt that I needed to do, and so now I'm just kind of going through this process of learning who I am again, and learning, how I feel about stuff, and issues that I have acquired over the years, trust issues that I have, and because I think in order for you to finally be ready for the right one, you've got to be in a place where you can put your past down, you can put your baggage down. And because you don't want to carry that into another relationship, you don't want to carry that into your future, because it has no place. It has no place. And I think when you do that, you're doomed. I do. I think the relationship is doomed from the start. People talk about this whole Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie deal, and yada yada yada. Well, here's my thing. I do want everyone to be happy. That is certainly very important to me. But you know what? Look how they started their relationship. Do you know what I mean? They started their relationship in a dishonest way, and I think sometimes when you try to build a house on top of somebody else's house, it's going to crumble because your foundation ain't solid. And I think that was truly the case in their relationship. And quite frankly, I think it's surprising that they lasted as long as they did. I think in order for a relationship to truly manifest and work and be okay, I think that you both kind of have to go into it with a clean slate and not carrying baggage from your past and hurts from your past, and I think that it has to be an honest, and I've said this before, it has to be a God-centered relationship. Now, I'm not saying that you got to be one of these couples that, there's people that get fanatical. I'm not saying you got to be fanatical, but I think that God has got to be at the center of your life. And I think it has to be at the center of your relationship, because if you have that on your side, then any problems that you're faced with, you're going to be able to work through them. You're going to be able to pray about it, and you're going to be able to get some clarity and some perspective, rather than what we do as a society, and that is, pee on you, I'm out, boom, bye. And we don't work on things. We don't try to fix things, And that's all, that's not to say that everything is fixable. Some people, I know people that are wonderful Christians, but they ended up getting divorces. Some things aren't meant to be fixed. So, There's a whole lot of gray. I don't think anything is ever black and white. And I know that a lot of people are. I've got so many friends that it's black or white. There is no in between. Everything's in between, honey. Everything is in between. So there's always a shade of gray. I promise you faithfully. At least that's my humble opinion. You don't have to agree with me, but that's what I think. But to the folks that I know, and I'm not going to call nobody out, but you all be posting stuff on your Facebook, and I can see that because I'm nosy. Issues that you're going through, the only advice that I have to give anybody is pray about it. And know what you're worth. Know that your worth doesn't have to depend on if somebody else loves you or if somebody else wants to be with you, because what you're going to find when you stop and you think and you just kind of let everything wash over you is that you're going to be okay, that your existence does not depend on somebody else. And for every morning that you wake up, it's not that person that woke you up, it's the good Lord that woke you up. We're giving so much power to these people that they don't deserve that power. Why are we assigning it to them? Just know that you're beautiful and you're wonderful just the way that you are. It doesn't have to be about what someone else thinks. And if someone, I've heard, what was it? Something about when people feel like they can no longer control you, they try to change the way other folks see you. And the only thing that I can say to that is, live your life in such a way that people will never believe the bad things that are said about you. I've had, specifically people try to say things about somebody that maybe I know really well, and the first thing out of my mouth is, that doesn't sound like them. It doesn't sound like something that they would say or do for that matter. So be that person. Just be a very strong, confident person in who you are, and let everything else fall to the wayside. I think sometimes, and maybe it's easier said than done, but if you pray about it, I promise you faithfully, it ain't gonna hurt. It won't hurt your cause. So just head up, young person, to all those friends of mine, and some of you aren't even friends. Some of you that I've kind of happened onto because of friends pages, because they've clicked on something or they've commented on something. And so there's like perfect strangers out there that I'm just praying about and saying I hope that you're okay and this, that, and the other. So just keep your head up. And just remember, everything is an evolution. You want to continually go forward. You don't want to go backwards. Take it from somebody who knows. Take it from somebody who did it for years and years. Just forward. If it's not helping you, listen. If it is not helping you move forward, you don't need it. If there's something in your life that is constantly pulling you back, no, honey. No. That's not godly. That's not God doing that, honey. That's the old devil pulling you back. God propels you forward. The devil, he pulls you back. So remember that. Remember it. Again, it's just my opinion, and you don't have to agree with it. So let's see, what else? I guess that's really all I have for right now. At least that's all that's coming to mind. Anyway, I need to get things straightened up. My shift starts again tomorrow. 48 hours at the one place, 48 hours at the other place. Although, I do like it. I think it's, before I was doing 96 hours at one place, and that was getting a little bit rough. This way, it kind of breaks it up a little bit. And I love my Monday, Tuesday shift, my Monday, Tuesday people, because it's such a family, It's such a family. So I adore and enjoy those people, and it makes it very nice. It's nice to start the week off that way. So good stuff, all good things. Oh, one more thing before I go, and this is something that I don't know about the rest of y'all, but it absolutely kills my soul in ways that I cannot even begin to describe and tell you. When we're kids, when I say kids, I'm talking about like teenagers and such. When we're kids, we're very immature. We say and do things that are just ridiculous, and we look back on it and cringe, and just at our behavior and how we, specifically when it comes to like relationships, and not even like romantic, I'm just talking about people relationships, talking about folk and gossiping and yada yada yada. And it absolutely irks my soul when I see grown folk doing it, because I'm one of these type people. I've got my tight circle, I've got my little tribe, and I wouldn't trade them for love nor money. And we can say what we're going to say because it stays within our tribe. I'm talking about people who make a sport out of bullying and condemning others. I can't stand that. I don't know what possesses people to do that. I was talking to a friend yesterday, and she's probably right. She said that it's their own insecurity. Well, honey, I wish they would get them some security. Because you know what? To me, there is nothing worse than seeing a grown person belittle and talk about somebody behind their back. I can't stand that. Anybody who knows me will tell you, if I got anything to say to you, honey, it's going to be said to your face. And the older I get, the more enjoyment I get out of saying things to people's faces. Does that make me a bad person? I don't know if it does or not, but I get joy out of it. If I got something to say to somebody, I'm like, and another thing. I don't know why. But you know what? Being nice to people, honey, being kind to somebody ain't going to cost you nothing. And if you don't have nothing nice to say, shut your pie hole. I mean, it's one thing to talk about some bonehead thing that somebody did, and preferably with them sitting there. But I've heard, honey, the stuff that I've heard the last 2 weeks, just making fun of the way people talk and making fun, just stupid stuff. That's awful, and you're going to burn in hell for it. I don't know that you will, but I thought I'd say that. It sounded very dramatic at the time. But you know what? Have a kind heart and be nice to one another and grow up. Grow up. There is no sense in acting like a bunch of foolish children. It irritates me. So, and it's also another reason why my circle is as tight as it is, because I have no use for that. I have no use for that. So, because I'm one of these type of people. If I like you, if you're my peeps and I like you, I ain't gonna let nobody talk bad about you in front of me. I'm gonna tell them, no. And if I don't know you, and even if I don't like you, chances are, if somebody starts talking bad about you, I'm just gonna walk away. I'm certainly not gonna participate in it, because I just think it's wrong. And that has nothing to do with Jesus or spirituality or Christianity. It just has to do with manners and being raised right. So, there it is. But anyway, it's 10 minutes till noon. So I reckon I'm just going to tidy up a little bit and get all my stuff ready for work. I hope that you all are having a lovely day. I hope you're having a blessed day. I hope you're going to get out and do something kind for someone else, especially if you're feeling down. So, like I said last night, it's a huge boost to the overall mental well-being. Speaking of, did I take my Prozac? I think I did. Anyway, y'all, I love you, and have a happy, blessed Sunday, and thank you for listening to the rambling. I'm going to try to upload this, and God only knows how long it is going to take, but I'll do my best. So, yins, take care, and I will talk at you later.